Saving America one entrepreneur at a time, it's the Biz Rap Podcast with your host, Michael Manahan.
It's Biz Rap Radio, the show that celebrates entrepreneurs and small business with your host, small businessman, educator, and author, Michael Manahan.
And welcome to another edition of Biz Rap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope all of you are out there watching what's going on with this crazy election. But we're not here to talk about elections. We're here to talk about small business and entrepreneurs. That's what Biz Rap Radio is all about. We're here to help the small business people of America. You know, as we've talked before on the show, it's getting tougher and tougher for small business people to survive. Not only are we fighting tremendous government regulation, but the capital markets that used to fuel small business people, those capital markets have dried up. It seems that our friends in Washington have done just about everything they can to stifle the flow of capital to small businesses and entrepreneurs. Yet, as we pull out of the recession, it is small businesses that create most of the new jobs. And in addition to that, most people in the United States actually work for small businesses. Now, I know that the folks on Wall Street and the big corporations would have you think otherwise, but ever read the Wall Street Journal? No, you don't see Hewlett-Packard's hiring 10,000 more people. You see that Hewlett-Packard just laid off 10,000 people. So we're here to fight the good fight for small business people of America. And remember, folks, if you're a small business person out there, profits are not a dirty word. Yes, that's right. You've got to make a profit in your business for a whole host of reasons. One is you make a profit, you take care of yourself, you take care of your family. Second, you make a profit, you take care of your employees. Third, you make a profit, you reinvest that money in the future. You need to grow your business. You need to develop new products and new systems and new ways of serving your customers. And finally, you take care of your community. And something I love about entrepreneurs, and I've talked to entrepreneurs all over the country, so many of them are involved in the local community, and they do it not because they're getting much out of it. It's not like, Coca-Cola who comes in and sponsors the local 10K race. They do that purely for advertising purposes. But when a local muffler shop sponsors the Little League team, they're doing that because they want to help the community. Believe me, they don't sell a heck of a lot more mufflers because they do it. So congratulations to all of you entrepreneurs out there. Now, something we've talked about before on the show is the concept that somebody who perhaps you wouldn't think of as being an entrepreneur, somebody who's got the proverbial day job. They're out there, they're working for a big corporation, they're working for the government, but they have developed expertise in a certain field, and they are interested in perhaps creating and building a business around their expertise. And we seem to find that quite a bit, but because they've worked for the government or they've worked for a big corporation, they really haven't been around entrepreneurs. They're not sure exactly what to do, but they're ready to take that leap. They want to get their own business going. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today, because I have my guests in studio today. I've got with me Michael Oden and Alina Ugas. And Michael and Alina, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Okay, so I think that kind of describes you. Both of you have kind of regular jobs. Is that right?
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you able to talk about what you do, Michael, as kind of your regular job?
Yes, I am a probation officer during the day.
Okay, so you're basically with the law enforcement probation officer. Actually, who does the probation officer work for? Do you work for the police department, or is that a separate group?
We're like a cousin of the police department.
Cousin of the police department.
But we work for the county.
Okay, so you work for the county.
Right.
And look, and I'm looking across the table from you. I see a few gray whiskers on the face, so obviously you're not a 25-year-old kid.
Oh, no, I'm way past that.
Okay, so you've been doing this a while. So you have an entrenched career, successful career as a probation officer.
Yes.
And but now you have also started and created your own entrepreneurial business.
Yes. I became a therapist on top of that. And
Okay.
what I did is I developed a program or a methodology to get people to understand their behavior so they can change it.
Oh, interesting. So, now how did that all start? Why don't you give us a 2 or 3 minutes on kind of the history of how you decided to transform, I guess, expertise you kind of learned through education and on the job into something that could possibly be a business?
Well, what I saw was the fact that people were suffering with making decisions that weren't life enhancing. And I said there had to be something behind that. So I decided to go behind the scenes. And what I did was I learned certain behavior techniques that I could apply to my clients to wake them up, to get them to see why they do what they do. And that alone probably enabled them to make a drastic shift in a short period of time.
Amazing. So, now, obviously, if you're a probation officer, and I don't want to generalize, I know, and we get caught up in these generalizations in society, but I would just think as a probation officer, you're dealing with a lot of really dysfunctional people.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just typically, some what would you call upstanding citizen that made one mistake. I mean, a lot of these people are habitually engaging in self-destructive behavior.
Exactly, and what I decided to do was to get them to understand why they did that, so they can stop.
Okay, so you developed a method of, what would you call it, counseling or therapy?
I would call it therapeutic yet coaching.
Coaching.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been practicing this particular technique and strategy?
Probably for the last 16 years.
Wow, that's a long time. So how many people would you say in that time frame you have actually counseled?
I've probably counseled over 12,000.
Wow. That's a lot of people. So you've got experience at this.
I've heard almost every story you can imagine.
Wow. Okay, so we're sitting here. We're busy talking with Michael Oden. We're going to talk about your company a little bit more in a second. But we have another guest in the studio. She's being very quiet. And Alina, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, now, Alina, you're Michael's partner in this business. But what is your background?
Well, my background is in the medical field. So it's 34 years in the medical field as management. So I decided to quit that job and just take on the final step as a program director full-time. So I run the business full-time.
Okay, so you have a background in so you got some experience in managing and running things.
Correct.
In healthcare. And so you're bringing that talent and ability over to the business that you and Michael have created. Which is, and that's what we need to talk about. What exactly is, okay, we know your history, your counseling and therapy of identifying dysfunctional behavior, helping people with dysfunctional behavior, but what exactly is your business?
That's a great question. The business is to get people to understand the behavior. So we can take that to companies, we can take it to families, we can take it to other places. Lena, if you care to chime in on this, to help us out with this, because I'm usually the face, and she tells me where to go.
Gotcha. So you developed the expertise. So, Lena, how do you take what Michael has developed, and how do you make money off of that?
Okay, so our program is called The Final Step.
Okay.
And our methodology is a needs-based method. So what we could do with that is we could take it into corporate America. We take it into the universities. We teach like a wellness class. It's not only used for drug and alcohol. We can also use it for any type of like the divorce, anyone that has a history of domestic violence. So it's a wide spectrum methodology. And so what we do with that is we have our private clients. We coach them, either drug and alcohol, or if they're having even family issues with their spouse. So, and that's also something that we're using in the university to be able to help the, I always say the kids, but the students be able to make that transition from high school to the university, and to be able to, manage their time in order for them to be able to do their classwork and have outside life. So that's one of the things that we're using. And also for, as far as HR, for the companies, we use that as a hiring package. So while they select the new hires.
Mm-hmm. So what you're telling me is this I guess therapy, if you want to call it, or counseling that you've created. There's a lot of applications for this. You could use it to help people with dysfunctional behavior. You could use it to help alcoholics, people going through divorces, people who are. What about gambling addicts?
Absolutely.
Okay, what about my favorite one, the shopaholic?
I love that one. That's my favorite one, too. And also an overeater. We have an overeating, we're both certified as an overeater coach, but you put a slice of cake in front of me, you could totally forget that part. Yeah. So
I forgot about that one. Eating, what a dysfunctional behavior. What about Hillary voters? Can you do anything about those Hillary voters?
That's going to take a miracle, sir.
Look at, I'm in studio today. I'm speaking with Michael Oden, Alina Ugas. The final step is their company. The needs-based method is what they deliver to their customers. And thank you so much for joining me. We're going to break for commercials. Once we get back from commercials, we want to talk more about your business, and in addition to that, give your contact information. It's Mike Manahan, Biz Rap Radio, and we'll be back right after these messages. And welcome back to Biz Rap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan, and I am in studio today talking with Michael Oden and Alina Ugas. They are The Final Step is their company. They perform or have a methodology for counseling people that basically eliminates dysfunctional behavior. What do we mean by that? We talked in the earlier segment, things like shopaholics, gambling addicts, alcoholics, people who go around beating their dog or beating their kids or their wife. There's just so much dysfunctional behavior out there. Again, Alina, Michael, thank you for being in the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Now, Alina, you were mentioning something that at another time that we had met about how many people actually in the United States actually kind of engage or suffer from this kind of dysfunctional behavior?
There's actually currently, as of last year, 60 million people.
So 60 million people. So about, what's that, about a fifth of the population? Fifth of the population. So we can definitely say there was a huge market for your product.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't have any problem finding customers.
No, actually we should not. There's plenty of people out there that really need our services. It's just that they do not know. You don't know what you don't know. So unless, we get out there and let them know we're not only drug and alcohol, we're actually able to help you with other aspects of your life, then, they don't know about that. Okay,
now I got a friend of mine. I've known this guy for years. Mm-hmm. He has what I call the addictive personality. He drinks alcohol. He can't have 2 drinks and then go home. Mm-hmm. He drinks until he, falls over. So he stopped drinking. Smoking, no, he can't, smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a day. A couple of years ago, he decided he was going to get healthy. Never did any kind of physical exercise in his life. All of a sudden, he starts running. He's up at 4 o'clock every morning trying to run 10 miles a day. And, of course, then he gets a bad back because he's not used to it. Would your system help a guy like that?
Oh, absolutely. Right now, as you tell the story, because of the stories I've heard over the years, my mind starts to churn. I start adding or getting information that I could apply to his situation. What he's doing, because he goes so fast or he does it so quickly or goes so hard at his tasks, we'll call it.
Right.
There's a need being met.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he have to go so hard at it? What is he trying to prove?
Uh-huh.
Why does the need so strong for
mm-hmm.
him to acquire this talent or whatever he's trying to do?
Exactly.
So that tells me,
uh-huh.
Just off this, is that he probably had to prove something a long time ago, or he couldn't get approval a long time ago. So he may be trying to prove to himself
uh-huh.
constantly.
Uh-huh.
And so that's just a little taste
uh-huh.
of what this can do. If I were to get him to understand that,
uh-huh.
he could say, so that's where that comes from. This go at it real hard behavior comes from somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And when we find that out, we can actually put it to rest and go, wow. So Yes.
And so then when you say we go back, so I'm thinking then that you're talking about that a lot of these behaviors are developed in childhood.
Absolutely.
So something probably happened to him. Well, it's interesting because he comes from a German family, and I remember him telling me that his father was extremely strict. He used to call him Hitler.
Okay.
You know, my dad was like that, like
Right.
really, really tough and hard on him. So potentially that could be the reason.
Absolutely. Right. So he didn't get a need to express himself.
Uh-huh.
He probably didn't have a need for choice.
Uh-huh.
Right. And he probably had to prove himself to him.
Gotcha.
So he's indirectly proving something to himself, trying to really impress his father.
Okay, so right now people are listening to us, and I can guarantee somebody is saying either I've got a problem or I know somebody who's got a problem.
Yeah.
And I want to help those people right now. So if they're interested in you know what you can offer through your company, how should they contact you?
Alina, this is where you come in.
Well, they could actually go through our website. It's called The Final Step, and also the needsbasedmethod.com. And they could call us, email us. We're on all the social media sites, so they could definitely get a hold of us. And we're also in Psychology Today.
Okay, so that's the Final Step at finalstep.com?
Correct.
Finalstep.com, theneedsbasedmethod.com. Go to those websites. Contact information for Alina and for Michael is on there. You can email them. Phone numbers on there as well, so they could call you?
Yes. Our phone number is 310-612-7022.
Okay, now, as part of I guess what I would call monetizing the system you developed, one of the things that you did, I know you do speaking engagements, I know you do one-on-one therapy, but you also wrote a book on this, and it's quite a popular book, as I understand.
Yeah, yes, it really has taken traction. And we won the Eric Hopper Award, and that what happened is that it tended to affect a lot of people. So it's under the self-help book,
Right, gotcha.
and it really wakes people up. It hits the buttons that they haven't talked about, and wakes up to see why you do what you do, where it comes from, and answers a lot of questions.
So is this then, if I purchase the book, I could read the book, and then I would not need to actually come for like personal therapy, or do I still need personal therapy?
You still would need it, because what it would do is it would wake you up to a point. Wow, this is what I've been missing. Now I understand what I've been missing. So where we would come is we would give you the finishing touches, so you can live your life in a very, so I would say, peaceful manner.
Gotcha. So, okay, so we talked about books. Now, I also understand. So, but obviously, there's a limitation to the number of people that the two of you can see. So, is part of your strategy, are you actually out there training other trainers or other counselors who can put your strategy into play?
Absolutely. We're actually doing a national speaking tour as far as the book. We're looking into doing infomercials. We are training other therapists or other people in the field. And we also are looking into doing a mobile mental health coaching. So that's either going to be an app, or right now what we're doing is we do go to the person's office, especially if we're dealing with management. We go to their office.
So it sounds to me what you're doing is, what comes to my mind is Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins developed a kind of a self-help strategy, and he turned it into really a media empire through books, through tapes, through personal performances, through seminars, through trainers, and so you've got you guys could be the next Tony Robbins out there.
Absolutely.
But maybe more helpful than Tony Robbins. I don't know.
And not as expensive either.
And maybe not as expensive.
Yes, and we call ourselves, we inspire people. So one of the hashtag on social media is the number 2, inspire. So we're not I wouldn't call us motivational speaker. We rather be called inspirational speaker.
Inspirational.
Right.
Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But, I mean, you're out there. You know what I like about your business, too, is, I guess entertainment businesses are fine. There's a lot of different types of businesses. But your business actually improves people's lives. And I think that is so great when you can say, hey, I'm not only making money, but I'm making a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a nice feeling when someone changes their life because of what you said, because now they have the answer.
Uh-huh.
And that's what we try to do. We try to give you the answer to the behavior so you can change it.
Have you ever had somebody who maybe you worked with 4 or 5 years ago, and all of a sudden the phone rings, or you get an email, and they say, hey, Michael, I saw you 5 years ago, and my life is completely changed, completely turned around?
We have one right now. It's our 3-year anniversary, and they let us know.
Wow.
And they now have been so empowered because of the information that they were given and the understanding they have now. They read the world in more of a 3-dimensional manner now.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes they get upset because they see more than they want to, but because they know what they know now. It's kind of, for them, it's a little frustrating because they see the world in a 3-dimensional manner as opposed to the old 2-dimensional.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But they're really empowered, and they really appreciate their journey.
Yeah. That must make you feel so good.
It does. It
Yeah.
does, because now a person can hug their child, or they can have a better relationship with their spouse, or they can treat themselves better.
All right.
You know, they can actually say no.
Well, that's just wonderful. Okay, so again, we are in studio. We're talking with Michael Oden, Alina Ugas. The company is The Final Step. They have developed the needs-based method, which is a system that can help you to basically understand and eliminate dysfunctional behavior that you might have. Maybe you drink too much. Maybe you waste money foolishly. Maybe you just, I don't know, there's a whole host of dysfunctional behaviors we can engage in. I'm not going to list them all out. And we're in the studio, so we got 2 more segments to go. This is really interesting stuff. But this is Mike Manahan, Biz Rap Radio, and we'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back to Biz Rap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan. Thank you so much for sticking with us today. If you just joined the show, if you just, jumped in the car, turned on your radio, we are in studio. We're speaking with Michael Oden and Alina Ugas. The company is The Final Step. They're talking about the needs-based method, which is something that they have developed that helps people fix dysfunctional behavior. And again, Michael and Alina, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to be here.
But let's get back to the needs-based method. And, I'm thinking about dysfunctional behavior, Michael and Alina. I'm thinking, what do people do now? And, you can go to the, Barnes & Noble, and you can go to the self-help books. You can, I don't know if you're a religious person, you can go to your local religious leader, whether that be a priest or a minister or a rabbi, or alcoholic. I guess you can go to what is it, the 27-step method? How does that one work? I always get confused on that one. So there are solutions out there that can help people with dysfunctional behavior. Can you talk about why your methodology, and what kind of success rates do you achieve with the people you work with?
Well, so our product is called the needs-based method, and it's a therapeutic process that is used to uncover the truth, the operative word, the truth behind a specific behavior. And the process empowers the individual to understand their behavior so that they can change it when a specific need is met or not met in that moment. The reason we do something is because we're getting a need met. What are we getting out of it?
Right.
Whether it's alcohol or it's reading a book, we're getting something out of it.
Uh-huh.
And so we are trying to get people to understand why they make the tragic decisions they make. So once they understand that, they can go, oh, so this is why I do that. And that's what we do. We get to the heart of the matter. And a real compliment to our program is this: we don't blame or shame you.
Gotcha. Uh-huh. So, and you mentioned that you've worked with a lot of people over the years. What kind of success rate do you typically have with the people you work with?
We have a 85% success rate.
Wow, 85%.
Yeah.
That is really, really good. That's amazing.
And what that tells me is that they're willing to listen to what I have to say and apply it.
Now, I don't want to be the contrarian, but I'm wondering, is there some kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy here? Is it that the people who you have success are the people who come for treatment because they realize they need treatment and they're willing to do what's needed to help themselves? Whereas if you just dragged a bunch of dysfunctional people randomly off the street and started working with them, because they're in denial, because they're not willing to change, they're not willing to listen, you wouldn't have such a high success rate?
That's a good point. But most people they know there's something going on, but they can't put a finger on it.
Gotcha.
So when they come to us, that means they want an answer to a problem.
Okay, so that's great. So look, if you are listening today, if you know somebody who has engages in dysfunctional behavior, we talked about overeating as one of those dysfunctional behaviors. If you know of somebody, or if you're just interested in general in the needs-based method and what Michael and Alina are doing, please reach out and contact them. And once again, Michael and Alina, what's your contact information?
So it's thefinalstep.com or theneedsbasedmethod.com, and our phone number is 310-612-7022.
Okay, definitely reach out to them. Now, in addition to obviously helping people, that's part of your business, one of the things you're trying to do, and we talked earlier about where you want to take the business. You mentioned, you're really going national with this business. You've got a follow-up book, I understand, coming out. You want internet and mobile apps that you can use to help people. All of that requires capital. So you're out there trying to raise some money to kind of make all of this happen. How much money are you trying to raise?
Well, we're trying to raise $100,000 for our business, and we're also, now that you're speaking of that, I am going to participate in the Hear Her Pitch at the Toyota Museum on the 20th of this month. So I will be pitching the business in front of angel investors, and hopefully we'll find someone that is willing to invest in us. So that's what we're looking for right now.
Okay, that's so $100,000, and I imagine that's probably kind of what I would, because that's early stage, it's seed money type of thing. But that's going to kind of get you to the next level and really get you geared up and launching. One of the nice things about your business is it's your product is already there. It's not like somebody says, "Well, I want to raise money because I got an idea," but you actually have a product. You're already providing these services in book form. You're doing counseling. You're doing speaking engagements. Now really what you're doing is you're saying, okay, let's ramp this up. Let's take some capital. This would allow us to book a number of additional venues, maybe bring on a staff member who can start to schedule appointments, allow you the capital to develop your next book. So it's an interesting proposition, because I can certainly see this is the kind of business that a lot of people would die to have, because it's a business that can scale very rapidly. I teach an entrepreneurial finance class at Cal State Dominguez Hills, and a lot of students come up with great ideas for a business, but a lot of them are really tough to scale. They come up, well, I want to do a food truck. Yeah, but how do you turn one food truck that's got some slightly different food into 1,000 food trucks across the United States? That is a logistical nightmare.
Right.
I mean, can you just imagine the what you would have to do to make that happen? But you literally, through the internet, through other folks, through mass media marketing, infomercials. You mentioned infomercial. You could scale this business extremely rapidly, and I guess that's the plan once you start to get some capital behind you.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we want to do. So we do have, we do offer a couple of free events throughout the community, throughout the year, in order for people to hear about our business. And we also have a YouTube channel, and there's also videos there that could potentially help you. If you look at the videos, we have a testimonial from one of our clients that he has been, we call it, free from any substance. He was using meth for 30-something years.
How could you survive that?
Yeah.
I mean, never mind. How's the guy still alive?
Right.
Jeez.
And so he's been, what we call it, free for 10 years.
Wow.
So, we always talk to him. He shows up to our events without us even inviting him, because he always wants to talk about it. That's how happy he is.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. So, and is that a video on your website, or can they access it through your website?
Correct.
Yeah,
on
okay.
YouTube.
So again, it's thefinalstep.com. It's theneedsbasedmethod.com. Check both of those out. Find out more about this great program. Hey, if you're out there and you're listening, if, you got some extra cash, you're looking for a business that you might want to invest in, help out some entrepreneurs who really, really have a business that's got a huge, huge potential, contact Michael and Alina. And you mentioned some free events. Are they also listed on your website?
Yes, so one of them, just in case, is going to be on the 19th of this month. It's a wellness fair at Cal State University, Dominguez Hill. And then on the 22nd, we're doing a wellness talk. It's also a free event at the SBEC in Torrance. So, come on down, bring a friend. It doesn't matter what life transition you're going through right now. This will help you. So it just gives you some answers, and it's not one of those events that you don't have to take away. You'll definitely walk away with something.
Okay, that's fantastic. Look, we're going to have to go for another commercial break. This is really interesting stuff. In studio, Michael Oden, Alina Ugas, The Final Step, the Needs-Based Method. And I am your host, Michael Manahan, BizRap Radio. We're going to be back right after these messages. And welcome back to BizRap Radio. It's your host, Michael Manahan. Thanks for sticking with us today. Am I talking too fast? I don't know. We're taping the show early in the morning right now, and I don't know. I had like 7 cups of coffee so far, and I feel like I'm so I am going to, I'm gonna change into my NPR. Michael and Alina, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having us.
It is, I think I mentioned this, but it is BizRap Radio, the show all about entrepreneurs and small businesses. And I have in studio with me today Michael Oden, Alina Ugas. Their company is The Final Step. Their product, the Needs-Based Method. And what does that do? It helps people who are engaging in dysfunctional behavior. 60 million people in the United States with dysfunctional behavior, alcoholics, gambleaholics, people addicted to shopping, people overeating. I mean, it just goes on and on. People who are beating their kids, beating their dog, people engaging in habitual criminal activity, all of this dysfunctional behavior. And yet it can be fixed. Michael tells us 85% success rate. He's worked with, did you say, Michael, 8 or 10,000 people in your career?
Around 12,000.
12,000 people, wow. They've written a book, they do seminars, they do training, and they are now at the stage where they really want to launch this business and make it a national business, and with the goal, really, of just helping a whole lot of people that need your help.
Absolutely.
And again, thanks for being on the show today.
It was great to have us. I want to say one thing.
Sure.
Just for people to understand this. What need are you meeting by doing what you do? And if you don't understand that, that's where we come in to give you the answer so you can do something different.
Okay. I need your help because I'll tell you, I have to, you have to look at yourself. You have to be realistic. So I look at, radio host Mike Manahan. What's wrong with you? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with me. I'm 61 years old. I probably work 12 hours a day. I work 7 days a week. And many of my friends are now retired. They're fishing, they're golfing, they're playing tennis, they're sitting around watching TV. Why do I feel this need that I have to work so much? And the second problem I have is I don't care how bad the situation is. I always think I can fix it. I have a very difficult time. Like, I was involved in a company not too long ago, and I called in one of my associates, and my associate says, Mike, what are you doing? You're trying to revive a corpse. I said, no, we can do it. He said, no, you can't. This thing is dead. You just shut the friggin' doors, walk away from it. You can't help these people. Why do I think I can fix everything? So, have you got any ideas for me?
Here you go. My first question is, what does failure mean to you?
What does failure mean to me?
If you can't fix it, what does it mean to you?
It means it means I failed. I haven't done something that I should have been able to do.
And where did that come from? Why do you have to succeed all the time?
I'm really not sure.
See, this is where we would go. We'd go down there to say, why is this so important? Because then we'd find out that maybe back in the day, you had to be perfect.
Uh-huh.
And someone said something that if you don't get it right, then you're a failure, and you may have carried a belief with you up to this point. Where if I fix it, that gives me my self-worth, and that gives me my empowerment.
Okay, let me tell you a story. And I often tell this because my listeners know I teach university. I often tell this to my university students. But I can remember my mother. She was a bookkeeper. And I can remember her sitting at the kitchen table working on the books for the company that she worked for. And she would be doing like reconciliations. And I would say, Mom, why are you sitting here? I'm 12, 13 years old. Mom, why are you sitting here working on this stuff? Don't you do this during the day at your work? She said, my books don't balance. And she said, I'm not going to bed till they do balance. And secondly, I'm not doing this at work because it would be unfair to my employer for them to pay me to do something which I should have been able to get done at work, but I couldn't.
There you go.
That's it. I'm retiring tomorrow. Okay, I want to talk to you about something else because you obviously understand psychology. I have a challenge with students, and I'm not sure where this comes from. But I teach university. Man, like any university professor, I've got some great students, and I've got some terrible students who, quite frankly, are doing nothing but wasting taxpayers' money at the university. And I've got, the middle-of-the-road students. But universally, I find so many of my students have this low expectation of themselves, and in addition to that, this kind of low opinion of themselves. Like I teach an accounting class, and I said to them, okay, just remember, you got to learn this stuff because some of you will be senior financial people. You could be the chief financial officer of a $1 billion corporation, and they all laugh and look at me like that's never going to happen. Why is it that they do not have the... I mean, when I was in university, I thought I was going to be the next Donald Trump. Not as rude as Donald Trump, but I was going to make the billions. I was going to make the billions of dollars. Why do they not have that optimistic outlook that life is going to shine on them?
Now, I gave a speech at that college about 6 months ago about that, and it has to do. We talk about culture. We talk about what they see in the family, what they're exposed to. Some of these kids are first-time college students. No one ever told them they could do anything. Just to be there is intimidating. Then you have parents who don't understand that they're going to college can benefit them, and the parents don't support them because they don't know how to support them. So they've never heard this stuff.
Right.
And so on our world, college was inbred in us. We're just going to college. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to graduate. They don't get that. So they're intimidated by the fact that they're in college, that their family doesn't support them, and then all of a sudden they may be the first ones in college, and then you have relatives downplaying the fact they're in college and think, well, who do you think you are going to college? So they're fighting all these variables, sitting in this room, getting this information that's valuable. To us, it's another day at the office. To them, it's a whole new world.
Gotcha. Yeah. But, I think back to my upbringing. My parents never went to college. My dad dropped out of high school at 16. I remember he used to tell me he got a job in a sawmill bagging sawdust at like 25 cents a bag or something. They actually paid him by the bag to bag these big bags of sawdust. So I was kind of one of the first people in my family to go to college, but I don't know. But I understand that cultural thing. I had one young lady come to me. She was in tears in my office, and she said, well, my parents, I got 4 brothers and sisters, and and I'm the oldest. My parents want me at home taking care of the brothers and sisters rather than being in college. And she was like in tears, and I thought, how sad, because, if you can go to college and make money, you'll be able to take care of your parents, when they get older and they can't work anymore, unless they plan on, living on the minuscule little Social Security that you're going to get if you're in basically a lower level job. So that's a challenge. Well, you guys are doing such great work. So, where do you see yourselves? We only got about 1 minute left. Where do you see yourselves like 5 years down the road?
Giving talk to in front of hundreds of people. About this method, about what you can do to change your life once you get the correct information. We're talking nationwide. We're talking videos.
Training therapist also.
Well, I think you should think about a TV show, because I'm looking. Michael's a pretty good, you can't see this, the people who are listening to us, because it's radio, but Michael's a pretty good-looking guy, and I think, old Dr. Phil might be in for a run for his money if we could get Michael on the air. But this is absolutely great stuff. So let's give out that information again. Alina, what's the website? Where should people go?
thefinalstep.com. or theneedsbasedmethod.com. Phone number is 310-612-7022. And not only do we help individuals, we are also working with companies and teaching them in their HR department about the method.
Yeah, and that is really a huge opportunity and a huge need. Companies today spend. I'm 61 years old. I've been around a while. We spend so much more time and energy and money in businesses on that HR function than we ever did in the past. So the huge opportunity. Okay, we're going to have to wrap it up here on Biz Rap Radio. But again, it is the needs-based method, the final step. Check them out online. Contact Michael and Alina. And if you're interested in their program, check them out. But if you're interested in maybe talking to them about some kind of a business relationship, perhaps investing money in their company, definitely talk to them. Or maybe maybe you're some kind of a trainer yourself and you'd like to see about potentially learning about this method and using it in your business. That's pretty much all the time we have. Michael, Alina, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And, of course, it is Biz Rap Radio. We're fixing the United States of America through a fundamental concept that individuals pursuing their own economic interests in free markets will create more prosperity for more people than can ever be achieved through government regulations and a planned economy. I am your host, Michael Manahan. I really do appreciate you being with us today, and tune in again next week for another edition of Biz Rap Radio.